It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join Paul David and Kyle Benedict as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives in Yavapai County. And now here's today's Countywide.
Welcome to Countywide. I'm Kyle Benedict. Today we are talking about the One Person, One Night program here in Cottonwood, and in studio to talk about it, the second year of the program, Joy Mosley, she's a Verde Valley Homeless Coalition volunteer, and Kelly Wilson, general manager with the Old Town Mission. Thank you both for being here, and good morning.
Good morning.
So first off, One Person, One Night, second year of the program. For those who might not know exactly what it is, can you explain what One Person, One Night is?
Well, One Person, One Night is a cold weather emergency shelter project for the homeless in our community. Cynthia Strom and I, as volunteers of the coalition last year, proposed this project after spending 2 years trying to come up with a shelter, and were unsuccessful. And we personally were, because of our contacts with the homeless, were paying for one night for those maybe coming out of the hospital who needed a place to recover or who were just not feeling well. And not, you don't recover very well from a cold or anything if you're so we proposed this project last year to Catholic Charities. One person, meaning you or I, could pay for one night in a motel that would make a difference in someone's future, really. And so we went to Catholic Charities with this proposal, and they agreed to be the fiscal agent. We needed a 501c group who would be able to collect the donations from the community and then to work with the motels. And that was the amazing part. We approached motels who were willing to donate free rooms as well as reduced rates for, and so it was successful. I have the numbers here. There were 75 unduplicated individuals were sheltered last year when temperatures were 35 degrees or below. 68 of those were reduced rate rooms, and 89 of those stays were donated rooms by the local motels. And so it had we got a jump start from the city. We had approached the mayor. And Mayor Jones, she invited us to come before the City Council. The City Council has a discretionary fund, and we were given $2,000 to begin last year, and we ended up with even a little balance left over at the end of the year. It was so successful between the community. It was just real supportive. Great.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I mean, I know we had you in for Countywide last year to talk about this program, so I'm really glad to hear that it was successful and the support from the community was great. I mean, we hear that over and over again when we have nonprofit groups in here. Just the overwhelming support from the community here in this area is always kind of a common theme with these nonprofit organizations. You mentioned going in front of the City Council on December 6th. What was kind of the message there and the response and I guess the goal of going before the City Council? Whichever one wants to take that.
Yeah, well, our goal was to try and get some more funds this year to make sure that we had enough to continue the program and to have enough funds to do that. And the City Council was very, very open, very generous. They, excuse me, they kind of knew what the program was. They knew how successful it was last year. So we decided to ask for a little bit more this year, and they all unanimously approved $2,500 to go to this program. So I think their hearts are in it too. They have a heart for the homeless, and they know that people in the Verde Valley are struggling and out on the streets, and they wanted to see them protected during the cold weather.
Yeah, that's great. So we're talking cold weather below 40 degrees. What are we talking about here?
We moved it to 38, but that's just a kind of a guideline. It doesn't mean if someone walks in and it's pouring rain, and we have the discretion to, change that rule. So it's not set in stone, but we did go with 38 as a general rule. But we do change it and move it around as needed. So it's not set in stone, but
if it's cold, it's cold, right?
Right. If it's 38, it's going to be cold at 39.
Right.
So we kind of work it out.
Great. So how has it been going this year? I mean, we just are just finished up like 6 days of just winter weather up north. They got hammered with all this snow. Down here it's been freezing.
Yes.
Then the skies got clear and the temperatures dropped even lower. So how's it been going so far?
It has been very busy, extremely busy this week for sure. We started in November, the very last of November, with our first hotel room. This week, Angie's shelter has been full. So she's got 8 to 10 beds. That's been full. And yesterday we booked just 7 hotels, but the day before we had booked another about 10 hotels. So it just depends on how many rooms they have available. And it breaks my heart because last night while I was working out, we had someone call needing a place to stay, and all the hotels were full, so they didn't have any more rooms to give us.
Yeah, that's too bad. Now, when we're talking about the individuals, how do you choose the person who's going to be put up for the night? Is there, a certain type of person that is priority? I think there's different types of people who are homeless. Maybe some people who might have just been in an unfortunate situation that left them there. Maybe some people who choose to do that. Maybe they're traveling across the country. So how do you exactly pick a person to put up for the night?
Well, we kind of interview them when they first come in. So we're going to ask them if they have a tent that they're sleeping in, if they have a place that's kind of sheltered. If they do, we do kind of ask them maybe if they would just check back towards the end of the day, because we want to make sure that our most vulnerable are sheltered first, which are, the elderly, disabled, just coming out of the hospital. So we try and keep that. But if they come back at the end of the day and we still have rooms, we're going to go ahead and give them a room too. But we do kind of encourage them, and a lot of them they're such a giving and friendly, and they care about each other. If they have a tent, they're going to say, you know what, keep it for someone that really needs it, and I'll come back and check.
Okay. Now, from the first year, last year with this program, Joy, are you seeing the same motels and the same kind of people supporting this program, and exactly how do you get the message out to the community about this and kind of the need for help?
Well, this year there is one less motel, but we still have 3 motels in Angie's shelter, and using the newspaper, we had a nice article, a news feature there, asking you to invite us back. I visit the faith communities and have these in my purse, and anyone who I think might be interested, I just ask them to take it and to spread the word, and so that's been successful.
Great. Well, I'm glad to hear that. And again, the second year of the program, and now if people want to kind of help out and maybe get involved, how can they do that? Can they go to your website?
They can.
Okay, and that is, we have the oldtownmission.org, also a phone number, 928-634-7869. Now, about this kind of the homeless here in this area, have you seen really an improvement in the numbers of homeless people since last year?
I think the numbers kind of remain steady,
Okay.
but we're seeing a different group. So we have a lot of people that are just coming in homeless that are working to get houses, so they kind of rotate in and out.
Okay.
So it's pretty much the same numbers, but it is going to be a different group. There is a small percentage that is the same, but those are ones that are homeless by choice. So we do have a lot of just a different rotation of people that are homeless.
Okay, great. Well, we got to take our second break already. Again, oldtownmission.org is a good place to go help out, find out more information about this and just kind of what they need. Again, 928-634-7869. Take our first break, countywide, back in a couple minutes.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your closet. Still no jobs? Just more stuff? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed. And they're the stuff inside your stuff. Our job is to unlock those jobs. And it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Me and my boy Matt had it good. He had catnip that was off the hook. But one day, he brings a girl home, and she's allergic to cats. Every sneeze was a nail in my coffin. Now I'm in a shelter. It's decent, but they don't even have Wi-Fi.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to Countywide. I'm Kyle Benedict. Today we're talking about the One Person, One Night program here in Cottonwood. Joy Mosley, Verde Valley Homeless Coalition volunteer, and Kelly Wilson, General Manager of the Old Town Mission here in studio, talking about the second year of this One Person, One Night program where they temperature drops below 38 degrees or around there, and they try and put one person up for the night in a motel and just get them shelter, get them out of the elements and get them out of the cold. I mean, we have... it's not uncommon during the winter months, whether up in Flagstaff or even down here, sometimes you hear about a transient or a homeless person who unfortunately dies because of exposure to the elements, and that's great that you guys are trying to prevent that. So during break, we were talking about this. You mentioned this point in time count, which is currently underway. What is that exactly, Joy?
Well, it's a survey of the homeless in Yavapai County. It's where, I think it's statewide, actually. It's a HUD mandated survey, and with the numbers that the survey reveals as to the needs, the ages, ethnicity of those that are homeless, then funding comes into our area based on the numbers of the homeless. And so it's an important count that's taking place. They're at the mission here for the next two days. The next 2 days, counting those who come in. They're in Sedona, they're at the food banks, they're wherever the homeless might gather. There are volunteers taking these surveys. And it's very important, like I said, make sure that the funding comes in, the resources that are needed to help.
Yeah, that kind of seems like a difficult task, trying to find all the homeless people. I mean, whether we have a bunch or we have a few, but it just seems like it might be difficult because, night to night, I imagine they might be in different places.
Right, and we have such a rural county, it's easier in Phoenix, but Eliza Loudon from Catholic Charities is really in charge of that, and so she's gotten just countless numbers of volunteers that just physically go out. She's got different groups that will go out to where they know they're camping, and then of course coming down to the mission and different food banks where they know they are, because they're coming in for the resources that we have every day. So they're down there right now trying to count them and find and get the numbers right, so that way the funding can come to Yavapai County.
Great. Here, now we talk about the Old Town Mission and kind of this really partnership, or I guess the role, but I guess we haven't really touched on the details of the role of the Old Town Mission with this program. Can you touch on that a little bit more? I mean, I think we've talked about it kind of in a roundabout way, but can you talk more about specifically the role of the Old Town Mission?
Right. For the One Person, One Night, the Old Town Mission does the food pantry, the daily showers, and we have a clothing boutique and vision and legal clinic. So it just made sense that we would step in and take over One Person, One Night, because we knew they needed an agent to come in and run the program. And we're about helping people and neighbors helping neighbors, so we wanted to make sure that this program continued running because it did such a great job last year. Last year we were just able to send our clients that needed shelter down to Catholic Charities. So this year we decided that we would take it over and start doing the hotels ourselves, because we really wanted to make sure that this program continued. It's such an important program. So we are the fiscal agent as well, and we're also making the hotel rooms. So every morning we'll have a volunteer come in and she'll call every hotel and Angie's house and find out how many rooms we're working with, because that's the most important thing, is how many rooms can we give away today. And so that's pretty much what we're doing.
Now, do you have any numbers so far on how many people you guys have provided shelter for this year?
Well, I have a report as of the 16th.
Okay.
It said that there have been a total of 95 nights, 95 stays, and 24 which were free. So that was as of the 16th, but with this past week,
Oh, yeah. I think those numbers went up dramatically.
Once this cold weather came
Right,
in.
right.
So those numbers are up from last year then, huh?
Oh,
It
yes.
seems like a little
Oh,
bit.
yes,
It
yes.
seems like a little bit. Okay, and I mean, it's just I think the awareness is getting out there, and another thing we talked about during break was the collaboration between a lot of these nonprofit organizations, whether it's with trying to combat the homeless problem. We've had Police Chief Gazelle in here multiple times talking about that, and what can be done as a community to try and make sure we help these people out and the people that really do need the help. Talk about the collaboration with the nonprofits kind of in this community.
Yeah, right now we've joined together for the Arizona tax credit that's available. So we've formed the Verde Valley Tax Coalition. But among those are Steps to Recovery, Angie's House, Habitat for Humanity, the Senior Center, and of course, Catholic Charities we work with all the time. And so it's just amazing because, the Senior Center sees some homeless seniors come in there. Habitat for Humanity calls us all the time because they have referrals or they have a new program, so we refer people over to them. And of course, Angie's House and Steps to Recovery, we work so closely together because we're just all working together to try and help the community. So, and all of our missions kind of run together and kind of overlap a little bit. And especially with Angie's House, we're working, daily with her, trying to make sure that everybody is sheltered and got a place to sleep in, as well as Catholic Charities.
Yeah, and I think you think of the homeless population, but there's different needs within that population. Right. And you have the elderly who are out there who might need different things and different services than some 25-year-old kid who's out there on the streets just because he wants to. As you mentioned at the beginning of the show, you have some people who choose to be homeless, right? And some people who just, unfortunately, that's kind of what has happened to them. Right. Where do you see this program going in the future? I know you're trying to put people up for one night when it's cold. Is there any work of maybe growing this program or expanding it? Is there any plans in the future?
Well, we do know that it's just a Band-Aid, and I think even Mayor Alinsky said at the council meeting that this was not a solution, that this was just a temporary Band-Aid for the problem, but it's a solution that works now because we need to protect the people, our vulnerable homeless population now. So in the future, I think it would be leading to a brick and mortar, a shelter that's permanent, that's somewhere that we could just open the doors, because how much easier would that be to just open the doors when it's below 38 than to call multiple hotels trying to find different rooms.
Yeah, and I think that's on that point of collaboration with different groups trying to deal with the issue. You have certain people and certain groups, organizations that are trying to, in the long term, help these people out, but at the same time, they're currently homeless and it's currently cold out. They need a place to stay tonight, and that's where you guys come in. And I think it's nice to see that there's different organizations coming together to kind of take charge on different aspects of this problem and trying to combat it. So again, for more information, oldtownmission.org. Also, if you would like to donate or just help out in any way, oldtownmission.org. Good phone number, 928-634-7869. We're going to take our second break. This is Countywide. We'll be back in a couple minutes.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your closet. Still no jobs? Just more stuff? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed. And they're the stuff inside your stuff. Our job is to unlock those jobs. And it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Morning, Gary. We are GetSchooled.com. You want a college education, don't you?
You know you do.
That's why we're here. We're free and here to guide you through every step of the way, starting with attendance. Gary, financial aid forms. Picking a college, man. You and us go together like tacos and Tuesday.
And I love tacos. Go to GetSchooled.com.
Welcome back to Countywide. We just have a couple minutes left in the show today talking about the One Person, One Night program here in Cottonwood. Joy Mosley, Verde Valley Homeless Coalition volunteer, and Kelly Wilson, general manager of the Old Town Mission here in studio talking about the program. We mentioned during break the Loft, Catholic Charities. The Loft is still there. They need volunteers and all this. Can you talk about what the Loft is again?
Well, it's a day youth center that's open from 1 to 5 o'clock on the upper level of Catholic Charities, and they're open Tuesday, Thursday, and Fridays. And there's an opportunity to take a shower, do your laundry, use the phone. They get their mail. They can get their mail sent there. So it's a resource center for the homeless.
Okay, and we talked about volunteers a little bit and how I guess we were directing people to your website for opportunities to help volunteer, but who is needed and kind of what will they be doing, and I guess what groups are they with? Old Town Mission, the Loft, right? I mean, does everyone kind of need help?
Everyone kind of needs volunteers.
Okay.
That's pretty much the biggest group that we're really needing. And so we look at it, volunteers. If you like doing something, if you like answering phones, we could have you answering phones. The Loft, you'll be checking people in, working with the homeless population. So really, if you like doing it, most likely we have a volunteer position for you. And we also take big groups. Yesterday we had 20 students from Sedona Red Rock High School come in, and they were there the entire day, and so that makes a big difference. So
yeah, definitely, man, that's great. And I guess real quick before we go, funds for this program are kept separate from those other funds with other programs for the mission?
Right, they are. So if you make a check out to the Old Town Mission and put One Person, One Night, it's only going to be used for that program. And another thing is we really try and keep the hotels just for the people that are homeless in our community. So we're not encouraging people to come down from Flagstaff or Phoenix just to get a hotel room. We really try and make sure they're from our community. Okay, great. Yeah, I think that's one thing that a lot of people like about these local organizations, these nonprofit organizations, is you know where your money's going. Some of these other, everyone, I think a lot of people like to donate and like to help out, but knowing where your money is going is a nice incentive to help out. Right. So again, this is the second year of the One Person, One Night program. The first year, last year, was very successful. Again, it's below 38 degrees when it's cold out. They try and find shelter for the homeless out there. Again, if you want to donate or would like more information on volunteering with any of these organizations, oldtownmission.org. A good phone number for more information, 928-634-7869. Again, this is countywide, One Person, One Night. Thank you both for being here today. Well, thank you. Thank you for everything you do, and good luck on this year and the years in the future. All right, that's going to do it for today's countywide program. We'll talk to you and see you next time.